Hi, Kellyn. I just want to ask you about your long run playing consecutive games. It's an amazing stat. How would that elevate your confidence within your teammates, and if you feel that that level of trust that Greg has on you elevates your game?
Yeah, for sure. I played, I think, 18 games straight right now, and it just shows that Greg relies on me, and that my teammates have confidence in me, and the role that I played in the team has been tremendous this year, and I'm hoping to carry that in each and every game using my experiences and to help the team in any shape.
Ron Blum?
Is the biggest difference in road qualifiers the field, the stadium, the weather, or is part of it also the mindset going in with the visitors?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely various variables that go into it. Obviously, the field conditions are a little bit challenging in that sense. The different conditions with the weather. I mean, it's raining right now. I mean, tomorrow, who knows? But I think the mindset is the biggest thing. Playing away is obviously it's a challenge, and playing against a different team has different obstacles. Obviously, the aggressive nature. The fans come into play. Obviously, it's a difficult environment wherever we go, but it's something that mentally we have to be tuned in, and then obviously let our football do the talking and try to adjust on the fly and be ready for whatever challenges come our way.
Go to Jeff Carlisle from ESPN.
Hi, Kellyn. Obviously the last cycle you had experience with double fixture windows. Now you're dealing with triple fixture windows. To what extent does maybe that force you to alter your preparations in any way, given the pileup of games, Greg having to test the depth of the roster, things like that?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult playing an added game, but it just shows our depth of our roster. I mean, guys coming in, doing a good job in each and every game. But I think for us, we take it game by game. I mean, each game is a final, and that's kind of how we have to look at it. And every game has its own challenges, but with the squad depth that we have, I think it's huge. Anyone coming in is the next guy up, and everyone knows their duties, and we know that each game has its own importance, and we're looking to get the result.
Stephen Goff from the Washington Post.
Kellyn, how would you describe to people what it's like to travel internationally, go back domestically in the world we're in right now as a team? And players are being left behind, some guys are added, the testing and everything else. What's that whole experience like, and how does it affect the players and the team as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, long travel is obviously not ideal, but it's part of the game. Luckily, we travel via charter, which is obviously nice compared to standard. But yeah, I mean, like I said, going from various climates, going from Austin to here, which was a 4-hour flight, not easy. 3 games in one window. Different food and the whole 9 yards. But for us, I mean, we love what we do, and having an opportunity to wear the crest and be in different countries is it's beautiful, and it's a beautiful sport, and we know the importance of each game and each qualifier, and I think leaving guys behind and adding guys, it's part of it. And like I said before, it's the next guy up, and we have a deep squad that's ready to contribute at any given time, given the opportunity. And each game we're gonna be ready for.
Brian Strauss, Sports Illustrated.
Hey, Kellyn. You're one of the veterans on this team. You're playing alongside 18, 19, 20-year-olds. And the last 6 months has been a real crash course in CONCACAF, right? Nations League, Gold Cup, and now these. How have you seen these guys get used to it, get comfortable, deal with all that stuff you just talked about? What's been the learning curve and the growth that you've seen from a lot of these newer guys who hadn't had a taste of that over the course of the 2 competitions this summer and then the first 4 qualifiers?
I think those tournaments and games kind of prepped us for these moments. Obviously, Nations League and Gold Cup are a little bit different, but just getting that taste of different competitions that others aren't typically used to, playing overseas and then playing in different conditions, whether it be the fans, whether it be the fields, the travel, and being able to adapt on the fly. I think I've seen a growth in the guys mentally, and just being able to adapt and prepare for it, I think it's been huge. And like I said, I mean, I think those games were crucial for us, and it's kind of prepped us for the games now and beyond.
Sam Stasel, The Athletic.
Kellyn, thank
taking the time. Hope you're doing well. Last camp, the mood externally kind of vacillated wildly between the games and performances. Wondering what it was like within the group, how the mood transitioned between El Salvador, Canada, and Honduras, and even within the game in Honduras, and what it's been like this camp, especially since you started with probably your strongest performance of qualifying this far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it came to a bit of a surprise going into El Salvador. You know, kind of unknown how it was going to be, and you know, first game World Cup qualifiers. Obviously, it was challenging. You know, we didn't get the result that we wanted, but I think you know having that that little bump in the road, not necessarily we lost the game, but it almost felt like a loss. I think that helped the group grow and know what it's like and get that taste early on. In qualifiers, and then obviously Canada against a strong side, a good team. Another game that we wish we could have got more points out of it, but I mean that's the game. And then obviously getting the win away was huge. I think from a confidence standpoint, huge for all of us, knowing that you can go into tough conditions and grind down and get a result. I think that helped the group realize that we're capable of doing it, and realizing that it's going to take a lot to do so. And then coming into these games, 2 home, 1 away. Obviously each game different challenges, but it was a huge result for us. Against Jamaica a couple of days ago, and we're going to use that momentum into this game tomorrow and beyond. I think it was great for everyone.
Grant Wall.
Hey, Kellyn. Do you wish there was VAR in these games, these qualifiers?
Tough to say, yes and no. I think it's one of those things where you kind of get used to it. Me being the MLS guys in Europe, kind of used to VAR, and you're used to like, maybe get saved. But it's one of those things where it's not here. It is what it is, and we just have to move on with it. You got to play every play till you hear the whistle, and whether the case may be, whether it's against us or for us, you got to be ready for whatever is to come.
Blanc Blanc.
What have you learned about playing on 2 days rest and how your body responds before experiencing this?
That it's not easy. You got to recover well. I mean, that's the name of the game. Obviously you play Thursday, play Sunday with travel in between is, rest and recover, and, get hydrated mentally. You kind of have to cycle out from the last game, the previous game, and focus on to the new game. And it's a quick turnaround, and squad depth is important. Like I said,
How does your body feel different on 2 days rest?
different. I mean, yeah, you kind of get banged up from the game before, obviously, and then just moving forward, like I said, you just gotta just rest and recover. Really, get a lot of sleep. Different time zones is challenging, but we have different systems implemented for all of us to be our very best for the upcoming game.
We'll go to Doug McIntyre from Fox.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, Kellyn. How does the challenge that Panama poses differ from, what you guys faced in the last match against Jamaica? Thank you.
Yeah, Panama is definitely a very physical team, aggressive team. We got to be able to match that right away. And obviously they didn't get a great result against El Salvador last go around. Now coming back home, they're looking, from the first minute to kind of take it to us. So we need to be ready for that and match the intensity and bring the game to them, and weather the storm the first 10-15 minutes and be able to adapt. And moving forward, being sound defensively, and then offensively you got to capitalize. I mean, some of these games, you don't get many chances, but it's important for us to capitalize with the chances that we have.
Paul Tenorio.
Hey, Kellyn. Obviously, having played 18 straight games, you've probably gotten to know pretty much everyone in this pool and how they play, what their strengths are. How do you adjust when you're playing in midfield based on whether you're next to Tyler and Sebastian, or Weston and Eunice, or the different players that may rotate in the midfield? Do you change how you play or what you do based on other strengths, or you kind of have a set idea from Greg of this is your role no matter who's around you, no matter who's next to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of a bunch of different things. Obviously, you got guys like Tyler who's very mobile, energetic, and is able to cover a lot of ground. You have guys, like Eunice giving the ball, he's driving 20, 30 yards. Sebo wants the ball at his feet. creative player. So obviously there's things that Greg asks of ourselves, but obviously on the field you get a sense of what you need to do and how you need to adapt to guys around you and how you can you can help them out and help yourself out and help the team as a whole. So I think it's a combination of all those things. Know your role, but also know others' roles so you can help benefit them as well.
We'll take 2 more questions for Kellyn and start with Charles Bone from MLSsoccer.com.
Hey Kelly, thanks for speaking today. I hope I don't go too long with this question, but it's kind of a 2-parter, I guess. You've had a long road back after being out of the national team for a while, and now you've become essential playing in every games this year. And I'm wondering how much of that you seem to kind of, this is a compliment, become a little bit of a dark arts guy. We've seen you use the gamesmanship to the team's advantage. And how much has that been part of your value to the team? And also, how much of that do you expect to deploy against Panama, which is a team that's pretty good at that stuff too?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like I'm an expert at it, but it's something, sometimes you just need that in the game to help others, whether it's, boost players around you or, try to kind of have that competitive advantage. I mean, I wouldn't say that's part of my game that, that I bring value to the team, but it's kind of that experience that you need in these types of games to, help guys on the team. And for me, I mean, obviously, Panama, I mean, it's a team that's, very clever in things that they do. But like I said, we got to, match whatever comes our way and obviously use, our advantages that we can, which is, those things in the game to use to our advantage and to move forward. And, hopefully we get the calls our way.
Last question comes from Drake Hills.
Yeah, Kellyn, as one of the more experienced guys, and obviously helping to continue the aggression and the pressure that you guys applied against Jamaica really since the early seconds, how do you mentally pin that to the board, so to speak, when you look at Panama going down tomorrow? Is that something that you're more vocal about as some of the experienced guys on the team, trying to make sure that some of the younger guys keep that? And if so, how do you go about mentally keeping that once you guys go up against Canada?
Yeah, it's definitely important. Against Jamaica, right away, could have maybe had a red card first few minutes of the game, and I think it's important to take the game to them rather than trying to adapt to what they're bringing. I think first and foremost is the intensity is the starting point for us, and being aggressive and winning our duels, and we want to create the first chance and apply pressure right away. Because when you don't, I mean, you're in for a game. And we saw in El Salvador where we didn't take strong hold right away, and we were in for a rough one at the beginning. But we were able to change things around in the second half. But I think it's a tale of 2 halves. But for us, it's important for us from the first minute that we bring it, because when we do that, like we showed in Jamaica, we can create a lot of opportunities and really take the game to the other team.